All right. Well, my name is Matthew Berry. I am a premium audit assistant and I work in the audit department within the finance section of MEMIC. What we do in the audit department is we make sure that folks, businesses who have accounts with MEMIC, that the money they're paying their employees is correctly covered within different classifications for the type of work they do. And so our job is once their policy term has completed, we have to make sure that their money is covered within the right section on their policy. What I do is I act in an operations role where I have to ensure that every single audit that was completed on the previous workday was correctly processed. That makes sure that the correct dollar figure was entered on the audit, that all of the money was implemented on the correct section of the audit. Because everyone makes mistakes. However, in our line of work, where you make a simple mistake, that could translate into a few $1,000s. I catch mistakes by matching the process audit with the completed processed audit from the previous day. I have to make sure that the entered dollar amount correctly matches the location and the figure that was placed within the audit through our system. And so this is to ensure that once an invoice goes out, which is a summary on the audit being processed, it'll have all the corrected data for whether or not a policyholder still owes MEMIC money for the policy time that they had coverage based on their work payroll, or if they are owed money for having overpaid on their policy. Subjects that people in the audit department would enjoy would be any classes involving economics. I would suggest just basic intro into economics, the economy, if possible. And then once you get older for high school or college, macroeconomics and microeconomics. And also any kind of accounting courses or risk management courses that would translate very well into this kind of work. First, I wanted to be a center fielder for the New York Yankees. However, I wasn't able to get a contract with them. So then I decided to go to college and enroll in the business administration program at the University of Southern Maine. A big aspect in my job is to help clarify distinctions on class codes. What class codes are they are a general industry on policies that any kind of worker would be covered by. So, say someone is a landscaper, or if they do a lot of construction work, there are different entities or segments within that line of work where, depending on the specific type of role they work, they would fall under a different rated code. So what I'll sometimes have to do is try and help either fellow coworkers within the underwriting department or insurance agents help correctly distinguish where a certain individual would qualify. One of the great things about MEMIC is it has a fantastic work-life balance. Everyone here works very hard. However, once it's time to close up shop, they're not expected to stay 2 hours after their end time. Everyone is well aware that people have also other responsibilities outside of work. And then outside of that, just the communication and the culture within the actual business is astounding. It's very easy to communicate with anyone, whether it's in the finance department, within the underwriting department, or the claims department. Everyone has been very approachable. Ultimately, in high school, I took an economics class, and that helped me decide to pursue a business administration degree once I went to college. And I enrolled in the generalist track at University of Southern Maine. Ultimately, what that provided was exposure to accounting, marketing, risk management. So you got a little bit of everything as opposed to just focusing primarily on one strict item of the category. And I definitely was intrigued by that option. And what I was able to learn at USM, I was able to apply to this current job with MEMIC. What we are currently doing is, given the COVID-19 that's currently affecting us all, we have a new classification within the audit world for furlough wages. And so part of my role is to track every single processed audit with furlough wages on the policy. So what we're doing by tracking it is we're making sure that companies who had furloughed workers, they're not being charged for premium during that time, said employees on furlough. And this is going to be used as a resource to move ahead, because we're expecting that though we would love the current time to complete as soon as possible, it's still, in the world of insurance, is going to be with us for at least the next 18 months. Part of my role is assigning work out. So what I'll sometimes have to do is reach out to coworkers within the audit department to see what their workload is like. If they have too many assignments, if they don't have enough assignments, if the assignments I've been handing to them has very little verification to complete the assignment. So it's just making sure everyone is at a steady pace for work and not burdened with too much. Being able to either answer every single question correctly, or knowing who can answer every single question correctly if I don't know the answer. Being a great source of information for coworkers, insurance agents, or policyholders. I absolutely enjoy being able to give the correct information. So now you've learned a little bit about work in the audit department. Let's hear what happens in our billing department.